When you have an exhibition of textiles, especially textiles that have been worn by real people, one of the important things is to try to show them on mannequins as they would be worn. One of the things about textiles, however, is that really textiles are made to be in motion. And unfortunately, in an exhibition, you can no longer do that. By putting them on mannequins, it gives us a better idea of how these objects of art were originally used. When I started planning this exhibition, I felt that a great number of the pieces would have to go on mannequins. And while we made our selection of what was going to be in the exhibition, and then had this incredible inventory of all the pieces, and I had indicated on that inventory which pieces would be on a mannequin. Subsequently, we could easily calculate how many mannequins we would need. And for this exhibition, I calculated that we would need somewhere around 54 mannequins. This, of course, presented a tremendous cost factor. And I checked into the price of mannequins, getting them here in the US, and it was going to be very pricey. Also, I was concerned about the fact that the mannequins that I would get here would be basically Western faces and also Western proportions. And I didn't feel that that was appropriate on an exhibition of Asian costumes. So I felt that it would be better if I would purchase mannequins in Taiwan when we would be there in the summer of 2007. To my surprise, when we went through the garment district of Taipei, I only found mannequins that were Western faces and Western proportions. And this presented a real problem because the proportions of the figures were often too tall and not correct. And so what this meant is that in many instances I had to actually buy different kinds of standard mannequins and put them together in strange and different ways. Sometimes I would actually have to cut probably 9, in one of them I had to cut out at least 9 inches out of the thigh and shorten the mannequin for it to be the right size for the garment. Because most of these people were much shorter than, and so we needed to have a mannequin that was appropriate. Fortunately, I had done an exhibition here in Hawaii in the 80s of Asian costumes, and I had a few mannequins made here in Hawaii to my specifications. And I took one of those heads with me to Taiwan just in case I didn't find something. And so when I didn't find anything appropriate in Taipei, we got a craftsman to fabricate at least 50 heads. And then we had to cover the heads with fabric, with a stretch knit fabric that matched the color that we had painted the mannequins. I chose a dark color mainly because I didn't want the mannequins themselves, the heads, becoming dominant. I wanted the objects on the mannequins to show most readily, and the color that we chose, the fabrics that we were putting on them looked very rich against the dark color of the mannequin. I was concerned initially about the fact that it was such a dark color and whether this was culturally sensitive and appropriate. And in my discussions with the collector and others in Taiwan, they felt that it was, that my concern about cultural sensitivity was fine, but that the dark color seemed appropriate. And these are sort of considerations that an exhibition designer has to take in mind is what the reaction might be by the selection of a specific color and what that might imply and how people might interpret that. Another thing, I was very fortunate to find in Taipei a type of mannequin that had just a sort of padded arm with a wire inside that could be adjusted and moved. And since most of these, I didn't really want hands showing anyway, and because we could not, I just didn't want the distraction of the hands. And so by using this particular kind of mannequin, we can conceal the arms entirely and have the garment just be in the kind of position that we want it. Also, just in any kind, whether it's Western or Eastern or what, when you are showing clothing that has been used by real people, not the sort of idealized figure that we see in store windows, you always have to have mannequins made and custom made accordingly. So often we would take a mannequin and do padding with it in order to fill it out to fit the garments appropriately. So it became a real process of sort of customizing each mannequin for the specific piece of, or the specific garments that were to go on it.